My guest this morning is Corey Diamond. He's the Chief Operating Officer of Realized Worth. I'm your host, Mark Franklin from Career Cycles. So Corey, you were just talking about transformative volunteering. You were kind of comparing it to this other thing you called transactional volunteering. But in any event, we're talking about volunteering, and why would a company want to implement some sort of better volunteering program?
Yeah, and when you think about it originally, like companies weren't set up to let their employees just go out and do good in the world. Companies were set up to make money. So, it's kind of not very logical to say, we're going to spend money, invest money so that our people can go and do free stuff. But it turns out researchers have looked at this and found that that people who have companies that have a very good, strong employee volunteering program with strong participation have better business results. They have more productive employees. They are able to build skills better. And we did a study in Canada of 5 companies, over 5,000 employees, and we found that people who regularly participate in the company's employee volunteering program are actually more engaged. And that's real dollars to a company these days because they're looking at the cost of a disengaged employee and they're looking at trying to keep and retain the best talent. And so we're seeing more and more companies taking this quite seriously and increasing the sophistication of their programs.
Nice. Now, you introduced this topic or this notion of transformative volunteering. I was pretty interested to hear about how that focuses on the change in the individual and a change in their perspective. So how do you do that? How do you go from just an ordinary, let's go plant trees, to something that is truly transformative in a volunteering program?
Yeah, most volunteering is quite transactional, we call it. You show up, you do some work, you kind of leave. You don't really meet anyone that you're helping. You feel good about it, but then after that, that's pretty much it. What we espouse is this concept around transformation that can happen within the individual. So if you set up a volunteering program that not only focuses on the thing you have to do, but also on the change that can happen within you, as you said, then you're much more likely to have somebody become intrinsically motivated to want to continue to do it. So what are those things? A couple of them. One is, before any volunteering event, we bring people together to connect them to the why. Why are they volunteering and who are they benefiting? And secondly, as part of that brief, we call it, we get people to understand that the task that they're doing actually contributes to the impact. So if people understand that before, while they're painting a wall or packing a box or planting a tree or whatever, they're connecting the actual task to the story of the person or the thing that they're helping. The second thing that we do as part of transformative volunteering is paying attention to where people are at and what type of volunteer they are. We call them, tourists, travelers, and guides. These are much different types of volunteers. Your average volunteer is pretty much like a tourist. They show up, they want to have a good experience, but they're not emotionally invested. It's like when you go to a resort in Mexico for the first time. You just go, it's great, you come back, next year you'll go to Cuba. But people over time can move into other stages. For example, as a traveler, you go back to Mexico, you don't go to the resort or the tourist stuff, you actually get involved in the community. So now you see more and more volunteers getting more emotionally invested and intrinsically motivated. And then the last category is paying attention to people who are leaders. These are hardcore, passionate, community-driven people. No matter where they are on the planet, they're going to be leaders. So you give jobs to the people based on where they are in that. And then the last part of transformative volunteering, which we talk about, is what's called a debrief. So after the volunteer event is over, bring people together and do some critical reflection. We ask people, what did you experience today? And was it what you expected? And that allows for a sense-making in the individual. So when they're driving home, they're kind of like, you know what? There's something bigger here, and I want to get more emotionally involved in it.
Yeah, I love that last emotional bond, or the impact that it's going to have on people's emotions makes them more draw meaning out of that experience.
Right. And if we take it back to the beginning, like, why would a company want to do this? That's exactly what they're after, that emotional bond. It's a concept called affective commitment, and you can't get that from giving someone a new chair or maybe even a raise. Those don't work. What works, an emotional connection, is when somebody feels like, wow, this company made me feel this way. And volunteering is a great way to make that happen.
Nice. Last quick question. You talked about volunteering really supporting engagement. And one of the things that I see is engagement has a lot to do with career development and knowing what your career path is and having some sense of where you're going. And volunteering, it seems, can be a really good way to learn about other career paths, what you might like and not like, and so on. What's your experience using volunteering for career development?
Yeah, we work with some companies that have junior staff, let's say, who are involved in volunteering. They go out and lead a volunteer event. All of a sudden, they're leading a budget. They're doing some public speaking. They're building confidence. They're developing leadership skills. They're communicating with other stakeholders. They're maybe doing media interviews. They would never do that as part of their job. So they bring that back to their job, and all of a sudden, people are aware of that. And their manager sees that and say, wow, this person's got the confidence, the ambition, the skills to kind of move up in this company. So younger workers are starting to see this as a way on their own to build their own skills and build their career and then bring that back to the workplace.
My guest this morning has been Corey Diamond from Realized Worth. I'm your host, Mark Franklin from Career Cycles. Corey, thanks so much for joining us here.
Great. Thanks, Mark.